Welcome to the Sales and Operations Planning Podcast, where strategy meets execution. This is a show for cross-functional leaders who want to go beyond process and better understand what drives effective execution. In each episode, we explore the behaviors, decisions, and leadership practices that turn alignment into real business results. If you want to lead with more clarity, improve collaboration, and drive stronger outcomes, this show is for you. This episode was co-authored with Linda Anderson Hafner, a seasoned global supply chain leader. I'm grateful for her openness and collaboration. My name is Laurent, and today we're talking about what happens when organizations build ambition into the forecast while ignoring operational constraints. Imagine this. The company has finalized next year's strategy. It's bold, it's exciting, and it's heavily focused on the company's most profitable products. Leadership is aligned. Targets are locked in. The narrative is already taking shape. But you, as the supply chain director, are looking at the numbers thinking, we don't have the capacity for this. Not today, not next quarter, not without major investment and a system already stretched close to its limits. And yet, the strategy is signed off. Meanwhile, your supply planning team has been raising concerns for months. They've flagged risks, shared data, asked for support, but the factory team keeps responding. Theoretically, we have enough capacity. In senior leadership, they hear the ambition, they hear the optimism, but they don't yet see the operational reality. And here's the complication. You're not fully confident in the data either, not because the planners lack capability, but because the tools aren't mature enough, the analytics aren't automated enough, and visibility still has gaps. So now you're balancing four competing forces: an ambitious strategy, optimistic factory assumptions, concerned planners, and imperfect data, all while trying to help the organization see the full picture and make the right decisions. So here's the real question. What would you do? Because this is no longer just a supply chain problem. It's a leadership moment, a moment where the organization needs truth, but speaking the truth feels risky, a moment where silence feels safer, even though silence has consequences, and a moment where you're balancing two responsibilities at the same time, protecting your boss and protecting the business. That tension is something supply chain leaders live with every day. So what does good leadership look like in a situation like this? It starts with three things. First, good leadership rewards truth. Curiosity keeps information flowing. Defensiveness shuts it down. Second, good leadership accepts that imperfect data still has value. Most organizations don't have perfect systems or perfect visibility, but decisions still need to be made. Strong leaders ask, what do we know? What don't we know? And what choices does that leave us with? Third, good leadership creates psychological safety, because if people fear blame or dismissal, eventually they stop telling the truth. And the moment truth disappears, S&OP becomes theater. But what about you, the supply chain director caught in the middle? How do you balance the risk of speaking up with the risk of staying silent? The answer is this. You bring the truth forward with respect, clarity, and options. You don't publicly contradict people. You don't embarrass anyone. And you don't undermine your leadership team. But you do say, here's what the system can realistically deliver today. Here's what the data suggests and where the limitations are. Here's what it would take to deliver more. Here are the risks if we don't address the gaps. And here are the options available to us. That approach elevates the conversation without escalating conflict. It protects relationships while still protecting the business. And most importantly, it makes the truth safe to hear. That is leadership. So let me leave you with four behaviors every organization needs in moments like this. 1. Leaders must invite the truth, not simply tolerate it. 2. Teams must speak from data, even when the data isn't perfect. Imperfect truth is still better than perfect silence. 3. Leaders must respond constructively to bad news, as the reaction determines whether people will speak up again. And finally, decisions must happen in the room, not around it. Transparency isn't just a value, it's a practice. Because in the end, S&OP is not simply a planning process. It's a reflection of how leadership chooses to show up. So, next time ambition meets constraint, will you hide the tension or will you lead through it? Because great outcomes don't come from perfect plans. They come from leadership teams willing to face reality together. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe on Spotify or YouTube. I'll see you in the next episode.